Go ahead and if you want a bag of popcorn, grab
Might
one.
as well.
Yeah.
That was the,
We just ate.
you just ate?
Yeah.
What'd you eat?
Here's a nose.
You didn't bring me any?
It was a buffet.
Oh,
Here's some napkins if you guys want napkins. Oh, Tanya, you're back.
Yes. And I'm tired. Why didn't you?
I bet, well, I just thought I just saw soup with something that you guys were on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, it was yesterday. I
Oh.
just got back, seriously, like at 2.
I'm like,
What? I'm
here's
tired.
some napkins, Jeanette. Here's some napkins, guys.
One
Oops, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
AJ, would you say, does anybody need a water?
I said, let's go eat.
No, you didn't. Yeah, I don't think you would have. I think you would have.
It's not cold, but cold water's not good for you. I don't know if you knew that.
Was it
Okay.
I said, did you bring your dog ASO? Nuh-uh.
Yeah, he stayed here the whole time.
Where has he been?
Well, my mom.
They don't get out a lot. I always see it.
I'm wondering if I want you guys to move up.
Didn't you see
Oh.
Red's dog? He was in
All the way
there.
up.
Red's dog.
Just,
Yeah.
we should be okay.
Then move
We
to
should
the
be
front.
okay. He said it'll
No.
scan the whole room. Where did, Here? Huh?
Where's the
No.
She's gonna do most
Where's
of
the
the talking
meat?
on this, cause she usually does.
And that's good, that's
Yeah.
good. So this is, but we probably still have, we're still waiting for 3 more?
One's gonna be late,
Okay.
or 2.
We're gonna be late.
And Rosie.
And Rosie, okay.
Oh, Rosie's coming too? Okay.
Is she?
Oh, I know Mariah and Cindy are.
Okay.
So we don't know yet. About Rosie.
All right, we'll wait a couple more minutes before we get started. Everybody's got a book, right? Handout.
Is it the highest year in every hundred? I wonder how long how long that
Okay.
So did I miss anything today?
Eddie.
You know, the only thing that you did is that we are going to be partnering with somebody with funding tribal lands. Tribal what it is. Because I'm telling you right now. Well, that's okay. Oh, no, he didn't know, because we had other board members that couldn't make it either, so.
Sydney Marie.
I don't really realize. Sydney.
Oh,
This morning.
yeah, that's, she was going to, she was going to bring it down.
Okay, because I was thinking maybe you might have to. Oh, you know what? I need you guys to sign in. I forgot. Just a second.
Yeah, that's good, that's good. So is this part of your class, Lynn, or is this extra?
Extra.
Yes.
Extra credit?
Oh, no, this is youth council. This does not have to do with school.
Oh, okay.
No, this is our youth council. That, yep. I'm gonna start off a sign-in sheet for you guys to sign in. You got it done.
Hi, Carly.
And just if you weren't here, we are being recorded. So this is our first time in recording it. If everything goes good, I'm not real sure how we're gonna work it afterwards. But we are gonna put it on the housing webpage, to show what we do. And, I may have Marcella put it on the Facebook page, just to get out there a little bit more what we're doing and so that we're getting you guys involved in this. We're doing 2 trainings, this one today, and both of them are gonna be with ICCU, cause they're gonna have a lot more answers and probably a little bit more information than what I might have for you. With the budgeting, today's gonna be a lot of, credit, and you know, how your credit affects your whole life. So, this is ICCU, I have Mary and I have Andrea here. Don't be afraid to ask questions, raise your hand. Lot of input if we could for, you know. And I do have a sign-in sheet going around, so Andrea, go ahead and get started.
Okay, all right. Well, I just want to thank you guys for letting us come today and talk to you about credit and what it is and how it works. This packet that we prepared, it's got all sorts of information in there and all different types of resources for you guys. I know at the next session that we will have, it will be all about the credit union and what products and services that we have to offer you, savings, checkings, so on and so forth. I'm not sure, are any of you guys current members of our credit union? You are? Good. Good. If not, hopefully by the couple weeks from now, you will be. So the first thing I wanted to talk, does anyone know anything about credit? Like some feedback from you guys? Like what do you guys know about credit or credit reports?
You have to have good credit to buy stuff, like cars, homes.
Very good. Anything else? Do you know how to obtain it?
Buy stuff.
Buy stuff? Yeah? Yeah.
Don't you have to pay your bills?
Yeah. Yeah. I always like to start out explaining it when I work with youth. I kind of correlate it with your own report cards. So like you do your assignments on time, you turn in your papers to your teachers every day on time.
You're being recorded by the way.
That'll be good, thanks Hunter. Sorry. I hope they can edit.
So I like to correlate it with your report card. So you guys are familiar obviously with what report cards are. So if you go to class every day, you obtain your homework assignments, you turn them in every day, you take your test, you get good grades. The higher, obviously you get on your test scores, the higher grades that you get. So I kind of try to correlate that with a credit report. So you make your payments on time every month without them being late. It reports very good. So if you maintain that and you do well with paying your payments every month, obviously your credit score is going to go higher. So the higher the credit score, just like with your grades, the higher your score, the better things you'll get throughout your future. So.
Any questions on that so far?
Yeah, do you get rewards? Like, I don't know,
The award would be really to you, you know?
The incentive is when you go for a loan and you have a good credit score,
you get it.
you might get approved and actually have a better interest rate and a lower payment on it.
Right.
Right.
That's right.
Right,
The better your credit score, the better your interest rate.
correct.
And your score also affects your other things like insurance on your automobile. So it's good to have a good credit score for that also. Or if you're going out to get a cell phone, they even pull credit scores reports now to get cell phones and stuff like that. So credit scores are very important throughout your whole life, everything you do.
Everything you do is gonna revolve around that credit score.
The main section in the folder that I really wanted to go over with you guys today is the section that has what road to choose, and then it has some supporting documents behind it. And what this does is the first page there is almost like an overview of what the supporting documents are behind it. So I like to take each little section and kind of go over it so you understand where this credit score starts or comes from. Because you just don't get a score. Just because you turn 18, you don't get a credit score. It just doesn't happen overnight. So the section in there, the first section, is the sheet that says 35% of your payment history. Has a little graph, and they're all kind of built out like this. So this section is what makes up your credit score. So 35% of your payment history is your credit score. And your payment history, or how you pay your payments, is divided out on that sheet. And you'll see on that sheet, what areas on that sheet show you how your payment history will affect. What areas on there is gonna be 35% of that. It's gonna be your public records. A public record would be if you have a bankruptcy, if you have someone had sued you, taken you to court, sued you for something and you owe them money, that's called a judgment. That will show up as a public record. And those public records will follow you on your credit report for 10 years. So it's really important to try not to have those things. And a collection item is another area. Collections could be anything that you just don't pay. You don't follow through with your financial obligation. It could be a medical bill, it can be a cell phone bill, utility bill. It can be anything that you don't follow through with your obligation within a timely manner. They will turn you over to a collection agency. And the other section of your payment history is going to be your late payments. Every month, if you have a credit card or a cell phone, you have a due date every month. If it's the 15th of the month, you need to make your payment by the 15th of the month. If you don't, then it's considered late, which then will affect your score. So really, the best thing to do is to just pay attention to your obligations, make sure you pay them on time, so it reflects in a positive way for you, so that you can start credit, maintain your credit, and keep it going. Because once you start it and keep it going, as long as you maintain it and you keep it healthy, it'll be there to back you up in your journey of life. Anything that you want to do, if you've got good credit to back you up, it just makes that road very smooth. Any questions?
Nothing wrong with making your payments early, right?
No, you can make your payments
I
early.
encourage that.
Yep, oh, you can always make your payments early. The worst thing is try not to be late on them.
And when you first start obtaining credit, you gotta make sure that you're not getting too much credit, and I don't know if you're gonna go into that or
It will
not.
be, yep,
Okay.
and that's okay.
But just, once you get a credit card or a loan, you start getting bombarded with, other companies sending you more, oh, you've been approved for this, you've been approved for that. And that all is well and good, but you have to remember that you have to make that monthly payment, so you don't wanna get too much credit either. So, having one card and a car and, is good, but really, you still have to stay within your means of your income so that you're not over obligating yourself and that you can't make one of the payments. So just make sure that you keep track on that too.
A lot of times how that happens, that we see at the credit union, is the holidays. That's a huge time where people will take out a lot of your store credit cards. Like you'll go to Target and they'll say, oh, you want to open up a Target card today? You can save 10% today. And they'll tell you, you can open it up today and get that discount, and then you can turn around and pay it, like pay the cashier that day with your transaction. But still, what they don't tell you is it still reflects on your credit. So if you went and did that at Target, Kohl's, Meijer, Walmart, and you took out 4 of these cards to get these discounts at the time of your purchase, then you in turn have opened up 4, we call them trade lines. So there are 4 accounts that will show up on your credit report all at the same time, and that will decrease your score. It's not a good thing. It will, it will make you go down, and it's obviously hard to, once you go down, it's hard to kind of fight back up. So that's a lot of the times where we see that happening a lot, is normally about that. So just keep that in mind as you mature and as you grow, that when you're offered those things, be kind of choosy on it, and maybe not, don't take advantage of all of them, because the 10% that you're saving is gonna take a long time to recoup in the long run on your credit report.
One of the things I did, in fact, I have accounts through ICC, is I have a vacation and a Christmas account.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it was transferred over from the tribe's credit union
Mm-hmm.
closed, but that way I don't even have to use a credit card. Actually, if I put $50 in there each paycheck or whatever, it builds up, and
Yep.
then come Christmas time, I just use that as my
Yep, it just automatically
go buy
goes.
gifts. But
goes
you can
in.
do the same thing with vacation. You don't need to use credit cards. Just put a little bit away each time, each paycheck.
Exactly.
That's actually one of the things that we try to do at the credit union, to start people out when they turn 18 to obtain credit, is we like to offer you the different types of sub-share accounts that we have at the credit union, where you can build up your own savings account. And what we do is, once you hit a $500 balance in one of your savings accounts, at that point in time, as long as you're 18, and you have income coming in to support a payment, we would then in turn hold, instead of having like your parents co-sign or grandparent or friend co-sign to start your credit, we will actually take the money that you've saved in your account and we'll hold like a $500 savings account, and we'll just freeze that money, and in turn we would then issue you a Visa card. So that's something that we would explain to you and teach you how to use it. We encourage, the product is called a share secured Visa, and we would sit with you, talk to you about it, let you understand that it's your money that you've earned and saved, and we're giving you this credit card to prove yourself that you can handle starting your credit. And we explain to you how to use a credit card, where the bill comes from, and that it's good to pay it off every month. Because if you pay your bill off in full every month, then you're not charged any of the finance charge. You're not paying any interest. But that's the best way to establish you credit at a young age, at 18, 19 years old, is doing a share secured Visa, which then would eliminate you having to have a cosigner at that time.
So I don't wanna, get ahead too much.
Sure.
Are we gonna talk about like what we're actually doing when we have a credit card? Basically, you know, taking out the loan, paying interest and paying that? Are you gonna get into details about that?
Not really, but we can. I mean, if that's
Okay.
what you're looking at, like you want to know if you make your minimum payment, how long will it take you to pay it off?
Right.
When you get a credit card and you get a statement in the mail, they have to, by law on your statement, put a box in there, and it will show you what your interest rate is, how much you pay. If you pay only the minimum payment, how many years it'll take you to pay it off. On an average of between a $2,000 and $2,500 credit card, it'll take you between 36 and 42 months to pay that back. If you only pay
the minimum
the
payment
minimum
and you
payment.
don't use it in between.
Right, if you just take it and max it out, you know, shop whatever you wanna do with it, and then you're like, ah. So then you have to pay it, and you only pay that minimum payment. On average, it takes between 36 to 42 months to pay that off in full. And you're gonna pay, depending on your interest rate, you could potentially pay more in finance charges than you did on your actual purchases.
So does everybody got that?
Like, can't you just like pay it in full?
That's the best
That's
thing
the
to
best,
do.
right.
That's the best thing to do. But there is a lot of people out there that don't.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is, if you use it and you get your statement in the mail, pay it off in full. And like our credit cards at the credit union, you have payment options with us. So like at the time we issue you your credit card, you could say, I just want this paid off in full every month out of my account, and we would set it up that way. So when the bill came, it would just pay your outstanding balance every month. But it's all on the consumer, you as a member, and how you choose to make that payment. You can choose to make your minimum payment, you can choose to pay more, you can choose to pay it off in full. The best way for you is to pay it off in full, because at that point in time, you're not paying any extra. If you use it to fill your truck up at $70, when you get your bill's gonna be $70. If you pay it off in full, you're only gonna pay $70. If you don't, then you're gonna get your finance charge added on there.
The other thing that you wanna watch is the type of credit card that you get. I'm a big pusher for credit unions because they do have the best rates. When you get into other credit cards, they don't have good interest rates, they have higher interest rates. Credit unions are normally always slower. I'm not sure what ICCU's is right now, is it 9 or?
Our classic card is 11.5, and our
11,
platinum
okay.
is 8.9.
8.9. So you wanna really watch what credit card company that you're gonna go with. If you get one of those, things in the mail that says you're pre-approved, and they're gonna give you a limit of $300, but they're gonna charge you, some of them can charge you up to like $150 to activate it. So you actually get a $300 Visa, and they've already charged you $150 to
Just to
send
have
it to you.
Yeah,
So you wanna really, really stay away from those. So, you know, if you can get into a relationship with a credit union or a bank, that's your best way to go. And you wanna have a good relationship, with a finance company, just because you can, after you've been there for a while, you can walk in and, you know, hey Andrea, hi, it's, you know, it's Cheryl, and she's gonna go, oh yeah, just fill this out, you know, cause it does get that easy as long as you stay, you know, within your means. So, but try not to take those credit cards that are just, you know, that they send you, stay away from them, it's like Right Way, or Wrong Way, or
Wrong way, yeah.
Gateway, or, you know, any of those places, so that's why I'd like to see all of you get a good relationship with a financial company, whether it's ICCU or First Bank, you know, someplace. Okay, sorry.
That's fine.
How
Any
do
other
you,
questions?
qualify for the platinum?
How do you qualify for the
Just
platinum?
real briefly.
We have two Visa products, one's a classic, one's a platinum. Really, the difference between the two is the limits and the rate. Our classics go up to 5,000, platinums are over 5,000, and obviously, to qualify for them, it just pertains on credit, income, whatever, you know, the criteria that you have, job time.
Comes back to your credit score and
Mhm.
paying things on time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys ever have to get a credit card, in order to get the best rate, pay everything on time, or pay it early. Don't pay late. This is your uncle speaking. Don't pay late.
And a lot of times what's helpful on like the payments is, you have to kind of watch out for, you know, I always say those guys out there, cause when you're out car shopping and you're ready to buy a car, you're out, a lot of these dealerships and car people out there, they never tell you like what you're buying your car for, okay? So like, you're just gonna tell them like, I could probably pay that. I could do that. They never tell you like that you're gonna pay $28,000 or $36,000 or $10,000. They just say, can you pay $100 a week? And you're gonna be like, $100 a week? Yeah, I can pay $100 a week. So what they're not telling you is the $100 a week is actually $400 a month, which could be a $30,000 car loan. So you really gotta watch when you're out kind of shopping and you get to that point where you wanna buy an automobile. The best thing I can tell you is always ask them, what am I actually paying for this? Paying for this. That you don't wanna know what the payment is per month. You wanna know, what am I purchasing this vehicle for? Because if you can get that information, then you can actually, like if you have a relationship with us, you could walk in and say, Andrea, I wanna talk to you because I was at Crapple Ford today and I found this truck I like and they gave me this paperwork and they're telling me it's $28,000. Can you help me with this? And we're gonna look it up and we're gonna help you to make sure that you know that, for one, you're not being overcharged, that you're getting a good trade if you had a previous vehicle that you're gonna trade in. We're gonna look out for your best interests and tell you if the vehicle isn't worth $28,000 they're trying to sell it to you. I'm gonna tell you, you know, I would love to do this loan for you, but the vehicle's only worth $21,000. So they want you to pay $28,000. So there's a big difference there. So in our mind, that's not a good deal for you. You should be the one paying $21,000 and it should be worth $28,000. So just kind of watch when you're out shopping when you get to that point, that instead of shopping for payment, shop for your dollar. Shop for what you're paying for, not what you can afford every month. Because they like to break it down so it's more appealing to you.
If you guys don't know, ask someone that you trust to go with you.
To go with you, yeah.
Mhm.
exactly.
I actually had to go, I'm not gonna name the dealership here in town, but I had to go and fight for a colleague of mine who was given two different dollar prices and it was one of those liquidation sales and I just, they're like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm one of your customers, you better treat me with respect, and you just told her one price and now you want $800 more than what you said, so, you know. And honestly, I do find that dealer, the one that says all tribal members are automatically qualified, and I think that's offensive.
I think
The
that's been
Saginaw
taken
Saginaw
down.
Chippewa tribal members, you're
Right way?
automatically approved.
Right Way?
Right way,
Yeah,
and
they
they
took
have
that
the
down.
highest car interest rates in town.
Yeah,
Yeah, right way, if
It's like
anybody says,
exploitation.
if their advertisement says no credit, poopy credit, bad credit, whatever, please don't go there.
Yeah, be very
Because
careful.
they're just going to,
They're not looking out for you.
they're not looking out for you, they're looking out for them. They have a business and they're there to make their money. So we don't want them to make their money off of us, off of you. So anybody that says, if you don't have credit, come here, we'll give it to you, that right there is your first clue that it's not good.
And don't think that you have to go to those places.
Nope.
I mean, that's kind of the feedback I get at my position at the credit union when I talk with members. They almost feel like that's that's their only option, that's their only opportunity, that's the only, oh, well, I thought because I'd really never had a lot of credit before, I thought that's the only place I could go to. Nope, it's not the case. And with us at the credit union, we look at everything, just besides what your credit score is, how much money you make. There's all sorts of different things that go into a loan decision. If you have a relationship with us and you have a savings account, a checking account, direct deposit, those are offsetting factors that we look at when you're looking to obtain financing. Because if you're loyal to us, we're loyal to you. So if you don't have a lot of credit and you have a checking account with us and you have a debit card attached to your checking account, we're gonna look at that. We're gonna look to see, do you overdraft your account? Are you responsible with your money that comes into your account? And if that looks good, then that's a bonus to you. That's like, wow, they're maintaining their obligations. They look like they're good. They're not overdrafting their account. They have direct deposit with us. They're on a good start. They're on a good road. So those are offsetting factors as well if you didn't have a credit score for us to see. Any other questions? Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. The other sections of what makes up your credit score is called, let me see where it's at in here. What order it's in. On here, the next one, I don't know which order your guys' packet goes in. But the next one on the sheet is capacity. I don't know if that's the next one in your order of your sheets or not. And what that is that kind of goes back to us talking about the credit cards. That's if the capacity is if you have a credit card and your limit is $5,000, that you don't want to owe $5,000 on your credit card because that's your capacity. Capacity means the difference between your limit and what you owe. So if you have a bigger spread between those numbers, that's better for you. That shows that you're a responsible borrower. That shows that you're not living per se on your credit cards. That would be money that you have available that you could touch, but you choose not to. So it shows that you are a responsible spender, responsible borrower, so that will help increase your credit score quite quickly. If you have credit issues and your score was low, that would be something we would work with you with at the credit union. We would tell you, okay, let's focus on working on these credit cards, getting them paid down. We would refer that you, or recommend that you only keep your limits on your credit cards at 50%. So if you have a $5,000 credit card, don't owe more than $2,500 on it at any time, because that's where your capacity comes in. If everything's always at the limit, you'll get stuck sometimes with finance charges or late fees or over limit fees that will hit you, that will put you even further over, and in that case, of course, everything starts to go down. So capacity is the second thing that makes up your credit score. Payment history is the number one, and then it's capacity, as you can see with the percents. 35% is the payment history, 30% is the capacity. And there's an example listed on that sheet as well, so you can go back and look at that. The next thing is length of credit. That's 15% of your credit history, or of your credit score is 15% is the length of credit, and we've kind of already covered that with, if you take out all of your credit cards or loans or car loan and everything all within 1 year is what we look at, 12 months, it'll decrease your score, it'll lower your score. So the length of credit is good, and the only thing that can heal that score is just time. Just have to have the time that we'll go through. And the other section is 10%, which is the mix of credit, like Cheryl was talking about earlier, that you have revolving, which could be credit cards, installment loans would be like personal loans, and then mortgages. So if you have a good mix, that's good, and that holds a small bearing of your score, 10%. So if you have all credit cards and no automobile loan, you know, that's gonna affect your score just a little bit. They like to see it kind of spread around. Am I missing anything so far? Okay. Okay. And the one that a lot of people talk about is inquiries. Do you guys know what an inquiry is on a credit report?
Has anybody ever seen a credit report?
Oh,
That's all? I don't have a fake one to show, but, I should probably could go get one. But there's a lot of stuff that's on those, and it's all of your personal information. And I can have a credit report for the next one for you guys if you wanna look at one then. I can get a mock one up, but, I don't know where I was going with that.
What an inquiry is it'll show up, it's attached to you, your name, your date of birth, your address, your social security number, sometimes even your place of employment, what you do for a living. That's where like most of your personal information is all combined into the credit report. That's what starts it, and it will follow you. That's why it follows you, because it follows you by your social and your date of birth and your name. So once you give out your personal information, your name, your date of birth, and your social security number to anybody, they can get anything they want, pretty much, if they know how to do it. And so, like, once again, if you're going out car shopping, that's one thing you should hold sacred to you, is your birth date and your social security number. You don't have to fill out a credit app, as they say, at a car dealership to test drive a car. You don't have to do all of the things. So if you keep in mind these things that we're kind of talking to you about, and keep it, you know, underneath your hat, you'll realize when you go out there that you don't have to give anybody your personal information. That's your information. If they have those three things, all they have to do is type in your name, your date of birth, and your social security number, and your address, and they can pull your credit report. And they can send your information all over. So if you're out looking for a car at a car dealership and you fill out a signature or a credit app and they have your information, you're giving them the authorization to obtain you financing. So you may think that they're only gonna send it to your credit union or the bank that you work with, but we see it all day long. We'll get one sent to us, and on this back page of the credit report, we can see every place in the last 5 years, up to 5 years, whoever has ever looked at your credit report. Because they keep track of them. It shows on a separate sheet attached to your credit report. So the inquiries, that's made up of part of your score. I believe it's 10% of your score. And you need to watch those, because if you're out shopping, you could go to Graph. Graph could send you out to 10 places, and then you say, I really didn't find anything at Graph, and then you're gonna go over to Crapos. Crapos, I didn't really find anything at Crapos, but if you keep filling out your information at all these places, they're gonna keep sending it out and telling you, oh, you really don't like that? Oh, well, let me try you on this vehicle, because I already sent your stuff out. I can get you a loan through Chemical Bank, you know, or wherever the financial institution is. But in the meantime, it's your information that's being pulled through all these different finance companies or banks or credit unions. And those can hurt you in the long run. And they keep, like I said, and they keep a history of those attached to your credit report. So my advice to you is just keep your personal information yours. Don't give it out unless you absolutely are set 100% on what you're looking to do. And ask questions when you're out. Ask questions. Well, what do you need this for? Why do you need this? Don't be afraid to ask questions, because you're the borrower, you're the one in control.
It's just, and it's the same with the credit cards. If you go out shopping and Target says, do you wanna open an account? So you do that at Target, at Kohl's, all those are gonna show up on your inquiry statement, you know. And when you do go into a finance company, you know, they're gonna look at that and say, wow, you know, they've been at 27 places applying for credit, and you don't really want that, because the bank, credit union's not going to know that you didn't actually get approved for those. They're going to assume maybe that you did, so that's a little bit of a hindrance for you, so like she said, just keep your information to yourself, you don't have to give it out.
No.
If you're shopping for a car, just shop, wait until you're done and go get your uncle when you think you found the vehicle that you want.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then you can, the car places don't have to get your info, don't be afraid to say, no, I'm not giving you that, you
Yeah.
know.
Don't be afraid to ask anything, you know, ask a parent, ask, you know, a friend, somebody that you trust, you know, call us, you don't even have to be our member, you know. We get calls all the time from people that aren't members of our credit union that will just call and say, hey, I need some help with this, can you tell me what a payment would be if I bought, you know, a $30,000 car today? You know, this is the rate the finance company is giving me, can you tell me what my payment would be? And we'll tell them. You know, but then that gives us the opportunity to talk to them and say, wow, that's kind of a high rate, you know, why don't you come in and see us and we'll see what we can do. Because one thing is, credit unions, our rates are a lot less than a bank when it comes to that. And your credit report is so important because, like he had said, the higher your credit score, the lower your interest rate, the lower your payment. If you buy something at a 25% interest rate, you're gonna pay a lot more for that purchase than you would if you got a rate at 5%. So, you know, just kind of be out there and just ask questions, and if you're in any doubt, you don't have to sign anything, don't jump. Kind of take it easy and think about it and get some opinions and kind of go with it, because it's your credit that's going to follow you for a long time, you know, for your journey.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, I mean, just, there's nothing wrong with asking, don't feel
No.
embarrassed.
Yeah.
Do you,
You guys are actually getting a lot of good information that
Do
when I
you-
was your guys' age, I never got, and I had to learn the hard way.
yeah,
You guys don't have to do that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you, those dealers, they have the experience of talking people into something. They're pushers.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ever let them push you into something you're not comfortable with.
Some of the ones around here, you walk in there, oh, are you a tribal member? You
Yeah.
get per cap?
It's crazy.
Trust
There's
me,
a
they
lot
know.
of-
If they know you got, they're,
And it's just not right.
There's a lot of
It's not
predatory
right.
lending and a lot of, you know, and don't be afraid to come in here, and I know pretty much who all of them are, so, if you're going out to do something, come in here and ask me, or
Yes.
check with, you know, somebody, but they're out there and they're waiting for you,
Yeah,
you know, they just got their hands going and they're like, you know, so they're just waiting for you, and we don't need to deal with them. We have a lot of good people in the town too.
yeah.
So,
Good ones.
it's just make the right choices and start off on the, you know, the right, no, I don't wanna say right way, but don't go the right way. Sorry. But, and I shouldn't be saying that, but
And
don't go there,
recorded.
sorry.
well, that one mistake can cost you literally thousands of
It
dollars.
can,
Yes.
yeah, you know, one
Not a
bad
dollar,
choice, and we all know that one bad choice can just, you know, you can be fixing it for a long time when you could have not had it happen, so.
Another thing, be cautious. Be very cautious. Even, you know, think of yourself further down the road. I look at myself, I'm in my 30s, I'm pretty well established, I have a good job, I've been at the credit union for 15 years, I'm, you know, pretty well established, and I have my friend that comes to me and says, oh, I'm really in a bind, and my car broke down, and, you know, they're gonna give you all this stuff, and they really need somebody, or, you know, I really like this car they got out there, and I really want it, but they're telling me I have to have a co-signer. So they're gonna come to you and they're gonna ask you, it can be a relative, it can be a friend, it can be a buddy. Especially be cautious, because they're gonna be your friend today, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're gonna be your friend 5 years from now.
Right.
So you have to realize, if somebody comes and asks you to be a co-signer on a loan, make sure you understand that if you sign to help them out, get their vehicle, or to help them, and those people don't pay their payments, it's your responsibility to pay those payments. And a lot of co-signers, even, you know, that have been around for years, that are in their 50s and 60s, they get really upset when the primary borrower defaults on their loan or doesn't make their payments, and we have to, you know, call the co-signers and say, yeah, sorry, you know, the primary borrower is not paying the payment, you know, we're looking forward to you because you signed on this saying that you would make sure that these people make their payments. They don't like those calls because, you know, you're not gonna wanna pay their vehicle that they're driving around, that you see them in every day. And a lot of times it puts a lot of hardship on your relationship with your family and your friends.
That's right.
So you really need to be cautious on, you know, that goes way back of keeping your information to your, you know, maintaining your information, and it's a lot of pressure out there when you get to that age where you're gonna borrow and you start to get established. Once you get established and people know that, and sometimes you can get taken advantage of. So you just need to be really cautious of that.
Because that bad loan, you know,
Yeah,
that you've co-signed for, that affects your credit score too.
Right.
yeah,
So,
It's okay to say no.
yeah.
Yep.
so.
Yeah.
Does everybody know where their social security number is? Do you all have your own and you know where it's at? Has anybody ever had a credit report pulled? There's a lot of, and I would like to pull a credit report on you maybe next week, we'll talk about that too, but, people can get your social security number, your date of birth, your full name, and they can go out and they can get a consumer's bill in their name, they can get a phone in your name. I've seen it happen, so that's something that we might wanna look at doing, maybe just, you know, getting a credit report, making sure that there is nothing out there on you. And, cause that's something that we would want to find out now and fix, and that can be fixed, yes,
But don't they need a photo ID?
for. If I know, your social security number, your date of birth, and your full name, I can probably go to just about any place to get a cell phone. If my consumers is turned off and I need my consumers back on, they're not gonna turn it on in my name because I owe them money. But if I know all of your information, I can call and tell them that I'm you and get it turned on. We have people do that all the time with their kids' social security numbers and stuff like that. Seen it happen with people that have done it with infants. You know, they can't get something in their name, so they've used, you know, their baby's name and social security number, because you have to have a social security number now before you leave the hospital, I think, but pretty close. So you just wanna really keep track of that information, and, you know, at your age right now, maybe not every year, but every couple of years, pull a credit report just to make sure that there isn't any fraudulent activity out there.
And there is some paperwork in your folder too, how financial decisions impact your credit. It's this section, and there is instructions in there of the website that you can go to obtain a free credit report. And in order to go through these steps and obtain it, you need to have that personal information, because it's gonna ask you a lot of personal questions. And like for you guys, it's gonna ask you, you know, it's gonna give you choices. It's gonna say, have you ever pick the place that you've lived at the longest? And you're gonna look at these choices, and it may not have anything. It may not have any address or any state or any location that you're gonna recognize, and then there's gonna be maybe a choice at the bottom that says none of these. Or it's gonna ask you different things about you, so that before it gives you the information, it's identifying that it is you that's sitting at that computer. It's kinda crazy, but how it all comes together, but the only person that's gonna be able to get your information is you, if you're the only one that has it. So, like I said, it all goes back to keeping it with you, and it's not a bad idea to go through the steps and pull it. It's a good tool. You'll be able to see it, see what it looks like. On the free annual credit report, when you get closer to the age 18, you will be able to see there's different types of inquiries. So if you go to the website that's recommended here and you pull it, you'll be able to look at that, and in the inquiry section, it'll actually show you all the list of people that have actually dialed in or looked in to pay to get what your score is, to be able to buy like the solicitation list to solicit to you of their credit card, and you'll be able to see all the people that have done that. It's kind of interesting, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, when you actually look at it, but it's a good way to maintain what's going on with your information, so that if there's anything out there, like Cheryl's talking about, a utility bill or something like that, that you can get on it now and have that taken off before you do reach the age of 18 to borrow.
And we have done repairs on that, so that is something that you can do, so. If you have if you can go on and look at that, it'd be a good tool for you to do and look. Is there something else you wanted?
No, but just real quick, so if you have a $5,000 credit card, what, did she say the amount they recommend that you don't go over for it?
500.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Good
So
job.
these people are paying attention.
I think everybody was
Taking
paying
days
attention.
off, yes.
Right.
It's a lot. It's a lot to absorb, and, you know, and right now you think that it's not going to be important, but, I am really old, and I wish I would have known, what I know now back then, you know, and I mean, I've had some pretty good, darn good jobs in my time, so, but I didn't know about this. I just thought, oh, let me see, well, I'm gonna pay rent, yep, that's nice, and then I'm gonna drive my car, and, you know, you just forget that you have to pay for all that stuff. And you might as well learn it now, cause you're gonna be an adult a whole lot longer than you're gonna be a youth.
I was blessed because
So-
my parents never taught me. You know, I look at, my parents didn't sit down with me, or my family didn't sit down with me and explain to me what credit was, or what a budget is, or how to maintain anything. I was just blessed because I started at the credit union so young. I started the credit union right after I graduated high school. So it was like, what I know now is pretty much self-taught, what I was taught working through the credit union from being 18 years old until now. And so I didn't have anybody to help me through it, and I just kind of learned because of where I worked. And I think back, if I didn't work at the credit union, I would know.
Where would you be, right?
Yeah, I think of like, I wouldn't have known not to give my information out to somebody. I'd have been like, oh, I really like this car, I wanna take it home today. You know, I would have been like, whatever I need to do, I really wanna take this car home. So it's kind of a blessing to have somebody to go to, and to, you know, Cheryl's here for you guys as your support as well, to go to and to help you through it. Anything else?
And a main point, we talked about credit cards, and I don't know what we'll get into during the second session, but the point here is that when you open a credit card or whatnot, what they are is loans, so that's the point that we want to drive home to everybody, is that these companies that are loaning the money aren't just gonna loan you the money for free unless you pay. And it's in your agreement, because there are some credit cards that say that even if you do pay in full on the next statement date, they may still charge you interest. The key is reading those little disclosures that they send along with it and knowing what you're getting into, because basically the companies are in business to make money and they want their interest. And if they're gonna give a loan to somebody who doesn't have good credit, they're gonna make you pay for it. So that's kind of what we're alluding to here, is that if you pay your bills on time, you maintain good credit, you guys will be able to get whatever you want or need later in life because you have good credit. Good credit is really important. And once you get bad credit, it's hard to get out of that hole. It is. And then when you do want something, you'll have a hard time getting it.
They get mad.
Yeah.
Everybody gets
Yeah.
so mad and upset because they don't understand why they can't get what they want. And sometimes it's not really that person's fault, you know, like there's a lot of things, as we always say, like life happens to people. You don't know what your future holds, you don't know what your journey holds, you know. You could be married for 20 years and your spouse could pass away unexpectedly, and then you're stuck with just your income when you've always used, you know, both these incomes, so then you've got this financial hardship. So not every time is it going to be your fault too, but you just have to keep working through it and communicate and work with everyone. And without that credit, the better the credit, the better things you'll have. And as long as you can get your credit started, like I recommend saving up money in a savings account and we hold it, we will either give you a credit card off that, or we can take, if you save up $1,000, we'll hold the $1,000, we'll give you a loan for $1,000 and you pay it back to us over a year. That's another way of establishing your credit. Once you start it, I can't stress enough to keep it healthy, to keep it going, keep it healthy.
The interest rate on a share secured is very low, isn't it? Isn't it just above prime? So that's a real good way to start establishing credit and to get used to doing the payback, is to either do it with the Visa or the share secured loan, and they're holding your money. And they're holding your money in the event that you don't pay, then they're just gonna take your money, but you're gonna make your payments, so that's not a problem. But your interest rate is really low, so that just gives you another incentive to save. Not everybody can put in their savings account, money to do that for a car or whatever, but it is just a real good way to start it out and to get used to every month making that payment. And I would suggest for the first 6 months making the payment yourself and not having it automatically transferred, only because you need to get used to saying, oh, it's the 15th, I need to make that payment. Rather than just not knowing, oh yeah, well, the credit union's gonna pay it. Well, in the event that maybe a direct deposit didn't come in or something. So for like 6 months, I would suggest that you make the payment yourself rather than having it transferred, just so you get in a habit. Because once you get in a habit, it's a good habit.
Well, and we see that a lot with borrowers coming in. They're so used to their payments coming out of their direct deposit all the time. So like when we wait on them, they could be on their job for 20 years and pay us fantastic. Never missed a payment with us because they could work at More Bark and their payroll comes in and we take our payment every time they get paid. But then we pull their credit report and you get kind of surprised because it's like, oh, they're perfect with you. But then you look and then they don't pay anybody else because they've never had that responsibility they're always late on these payments. And then when you talk to them, that's pretty much what they say. Well, I'm never late here because you take it out and sometimes I forget and I forget about that one and I forget or doesn't go or whatever. So that is a good
And the late
point.
fees aren't worth it. Most places it's $10, $15 late fee. You could have went out to dinner for that, so it's just getting used to whatever.
Put it in a IRA.
Put it in an IRA.
So I hope you're gonna talk about that in the future, about them investing,
Investing, yeah.
so.
We got something scheduled for
2 weeks.
2 weeks. We got something else scheduled and we can do this as long as you guys want us to.
Oh, okay, good.
Perfect.
So, whatever Tanya tells me to do.
You guys have any questions?
Any questions? Did everybody sign in? I just like to keep that for myself, so,
We've got it.
to know.
The hour went by fast.
Hey, you guys, I have to go, but, we need to talk about that youth conference plan. We're way behind schedule.
You know me?
No, I'm talking about, yeah. So, but I have to run, so are we meeting next week?
Yes, most likely. Because we haven't had a meeting in a while.
We need to get that on the agenda.
Okay.
The local, they wanna do like a youth something.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank
I'll probably
you.
call you because I got some questions on my own.
You can call me anytime, I'm there.
My credit score is about 720. So.
That's good.
That's good.
Okay, IT, we're done. Don't be recording us now, we're good. So, did this help, do you think? Yeah? I noticed that you said that the hour went fast, so that's good. Now, I guess, are you all going to be youth workers also?
I think just us.
These ones in the back are too young to be you.
They're too young to be youth workers yet, okay. Alright, cause I wanna do something.
Was there anything you guys would like them to talk about that maybe you've heard?
Yeah, do you have any thing you, topics or something you wanna discuss?
Like the importance of it.
I'm sorry, the importance,
Yeah.
not bumps and trucks.